So welcome, everyone.
The battle against HIV is not yet over.
We do not have a vaccine or a cure as of yet.
HEART itself represents a treatment and not a cure for HIV infection.
The key affected populations are marginalized populations. In my blunt language, are the hated population.
I'm a master's student up at the University of Ottawa working for the Ottawa Hospital Research Institute on co-infection, HIV and HCV.
So we did a systematic review to look at the effect of insulin sensitizers on treatment outcomes, liver-related outcomes, and to assess the safety of these medications in this population.
HIV is an assault on the cell, but the cell is not an easy target. And I would like to use the comparison of the cell as a medieval castle.
We have an arsenal, probably about 28 antiretroviral drugs, but unfortunately, very little is being done now in discovery of new drugs.
More often, it's things that go along with the virus that are causing illness in our patients with HIV.
You've heard a bit about this shock and kill, kick and kill. I kind of prefer this. Flush and kill is maybe a little bit less violent.
So HIV actually likes it when the immune system is turned on by danger.
So just wanted to bring everything together in one slide.
This is a beautiful slide.
Oh, somebody's taken away my slide. I guess it's like playing the music when you're up at the Oscars. So, oh no, it's back. It's back.
The stories almost always tend to run ahead of the science or the tools. We make mistakes in treatment, and if anything we learn from our mistakes is that we can repeat those mistakes perfectly the next time. Oh my God, I can't believe how much is going on beneath our current levels of our thresholds of detection. You know, there's an entire other world happening under there, and it looks like it may not yield so readily to all of our available tools and thinking.
It turns out that if you take that one more step with me, you fall off a cliff. And you stand in a different place, and you look at the immune system from a different point of view.
What if we can give our immune system the proper tool to fight off HIV?
And how does being a man or a woman make a difference between how your risks are, what your susceptibility is, what your treatment is, and it's completely different. So it's not a little bit different, it's completely different.
So this is kind of my perspective as a basic scientist who's managed to get out of the lab for a day.
My first question is, what is your relationship with the communities you're actually hoping to do research with? You just don't appear from the blue and ask people, can you participate in this research project? So you have to do that developmental work of engaging and letting people know what you do.
We tend to be afraid of confrontation. We don't like upsetting people. We want everything to be nice and calm. But when you have major power differences and when you have really fundamental problems in justice, we can't be silent. And I think often people don't know how to not be silent.
We're not a pool of cheap labor. There, I said it. We're not a pool of cheap labor.
Too few places seek and embrace criticism.
We scientists have our own failings, right? If something doesn't fit into your model, you ignore it.
Scientists and participants don't start with shared interests in the trials. Those have to be discovered and nurtured.
And there was a Supreme Court justice from South Africa, an HIV-infected gay man, who judged the world and stood in front of the audience and said, this is like Nazi Germany. This is like apartheid. This has to end. And lo and behold, to the astonishment, I think, of everyone, it did change the funding stream.
But it's this notion of scientists and the community in a relationship that I think, for me, is the real foundation to build on in terms of improving science communication overall.
And I actually wonder, coming to this conference, if we've lost ground since those bad old days in our ability, in even our sense that we need to communicate about issues of science and research.
I'm going to take you through 65 years of immunological theory in one diagram.
I grew up in my training in HIV and AIDS, and I don't think I've ever been in a community where there's a greater level of knowledge and understanding than there is in HIV and AIDS.
So for me, the community is a central part of my work. It's
motivated my research. It's motivated the questions that I asked. It enables my research because of the samples and the women that agree to participate in the study. And it motivates me by looking at the enthusiasm by which my research is received from the community.
A meeting where non-scientists actually outnumber scientists 2 to 3 to 1.
Yeah. So we are majority.
Yay! As a student who spent 16 hours a day in the lab, sometimes doing all these research experiments, it was very nice to see community members really interested and engaging and trying to understand more and asking very important questions.
And I feel very strongly that there's a tremendous sense of community, and I like to believe that there is a kind of altruism, a sense of, the mission isn't really completed until we end AIDS.
Because it isn't just about us, and it isn't just about them, and it's about the ways in which we meet researchers halfway.
It's not an issue about individuals, it's really a kind of systemic issue. It's a cultural issue in science.
We really want to hear from the community, from the people who are going to benefit from these cures.
And that's one way ideas come up. When you disagree with someone and you respect that disagreement and you really start arguing about it without getting personal, you could come up with all kinds of wonderful things.
This conference is a proof of how much hunger there is out there to understand what's going on in basic science, and people want to understand this. So I am delighted that the basic scientists are outnumbered 2 to 3 to 1 because it's very important for us to understand what is it that community wants and to basically shape our science based on your feedback.